You might think owning just 5 XRP doesn't matter. It seems too small to mean anything. 5 coins, that's pocket change in today's market. But what if those 5 coins represented a piece of something the world hasn't even begun to price correctly? Because here's the truth. Most people misunderstand scale. They measure value by today's numbers, not by tomorrow's impact. And when it comes to XRP, that misunderstanding could be one of the biggest missed opportunities in financial history. Welcome back to Crypto Equation, where we break down the logic, not the noise, and uncover how even the smallest positions can hold generational potential when aligned with the right system at the right time. Let's start with something simple. 5 XRP won't make you rich today, but it connects you to a network that's quietly rewriting global finance. That's the difference between owning a token and owning a ticket. Because XRP isn't about hype or price charts, it's about infrastructure. It's the digital plumbing beneath a new financial system that's still being assembled piece by piece by the largest institutions in the world. If you own even 5 XRP, you own a fraction of the utility that will move value between banks, CBDCs, tokenized assets, and payment networks. Something that billions of people will eventually use without even realizing it. And here's the shocking part. That utility doesn't care whether you hold 5 XRP or 5,000. The system will grow either way. But those who hold early, even the smallest amounts, will forever be tied to the foundation of that future. The reason most people dismiss small holdings is because they don't understand exponential growth. They expect the future to arrive gradually, linearly, predictably. But systems like this don't evolve linearly. They snap into place once enough infrastructure connects. That's exactly what's happening with Ripple right now. After more than a decade of quiet building, Ripple has achieved what no other blockchain company has. Global corridors in over 70 countries. A proven on-demand liquidity, ODL, network moving billions. Partnerships with central banks and payment giants. Legal clarity in major jurisdictions. Every one of those milestones pushes the network closer to its tipping point, the moment when adoption shifts from experimental to essential, and when that happens, even the smallest amount of XRP will represent ownership in the backbone of global liquidity. Think of it this way. Owning 5 XRP today is like owning a few shares of the internet before it became indispensable. It's not about the current value. It's about being connected to the early stage of a revolution most people don't yet understand. When Visa was founded, few imagined it would process trillions every year. When the iPhone launched, few imagined it would become the remote control for human life. And right now, with XRP, most still can't see that it's quietly becoming the settlement layer for digital value. That's why even 5 XRP matters. It's not a bet on hype, it's a vote of confidence in an inevitable evolution. Let's zoom out for a moment. The financial world is undergoing the largest transformation in its history, the shift from analog money to digital value. Central banks are building CBDCs, corporations are tokenizing assets, banks are upgrading to ISO 2022, a global messaging standard designed for interoperability. And Ripple? It's been ISO 20022 compliant since day one. That's not luck, that's foresight. Ripple built the bridge before the world realized it needed one. That's why when institutions go digital, they'll end up using the rails Ripple already built. And when that happens, the demand for bridge liquidity, XRP, becomes structural. Not speculative, structural. Dash. So, what does that mean for you, the person holding 5 XRP? It means you're early, so early that most of the world still thinks this story is over when it's barely begun. You're positioned in an asset that could one day become as invisible yet essential as the internet itself. Think about that. 5 coins tying you to a global settlement layer used by banks, governments, and markets every day. It doesn't sound like much, but neither did the early internet until it became the backbone of modern civilization. That's the power of being early in a system that scales globally. People often ask, what's the point of holding a small amount? It won't make me rich, but the point isn't just wealth, it's perspective. When you hold even a tiny amount, you're part of the transformation. You're not just watching it happen, you're connected to it. That's how every major shift in history begins. A small number of people recognizing the future before the majority even looks up. Most people will only realize what XRP really is after the rails are live, after banks and CBDCs run quietly on the same infrastructure. By then, holding even 5 XRP will feel symbolic, a digital artifact from the age of disbelief. But for those who hold now, it's proof that they understood early. When you zoom out far enough, you realize something powerful. Every revolution starts with what looks insignificant. 5 lines of code turned into Google. 5 college servers turned into Facebook. 5 early computers turned into Apple. And today, 5 XRP can turn into a symbol of foresight. Proof that you believed before the proof was visible. Because the question isn't, how much is it worth right now? It's, what will it represent when the new system is finished? Let's picture the world 5 years from now. Payments between countries no longer take days, they take seconds. The term cross-border transfer doesn't exist anymore. Value moves like email moves. Every bank and payment processor speaks the same ISO 2022 language. And in the background, liquidity hums through a single digital bridge, XRP. That bridge won't be a headline. It'll be invisible, like Wi-Fi or electricity, powering billions of transactions daily. And when that happens, those few coins you hold become more than digital tokens. They become your connection to the foundation of the modern financial world. Here's what most people get wrong. They think opportunity has to be big to matter, but history proves the opposite. Tiny positions in inevitable systems create disproportionate impact. Owning 5 XRP today isn't about greed, it's about participation. It's a reminder that the distance between small beginnings and world-changing outcomes is often shorter than anyone expects. If Ripple continues scaling at its current rate, expanding corridors, securing CBDC contracts, and deepening liquidity, then every XRP already in circulation will represent a larger share of global utility. That's how exponential growth quietly turns small holders into early adopters of history. Think of the psychology behind it. The market rewards conviction, not comfort. It tests you with boredom, doubt, and fear. And those who survive those tests, even with the smallest holdings, end up part of the story everyone else missed. You don't need thousands of XRP to feel that shift. You just need the mindset to recognize what's happening. Because when global finance completes this digital migration, it won't ask how many coins you have. It'll ask whether you understood why they matter. So what could 5 XRP represent in practical terms? Imagine each coin as a unit of digital liquidity inside the largest financial network ever built. If Ripple's ODL volumes continue to double year after year, if tokenized assets worth trillions flow through these rails, then every XRP's role in that system increases. The network doesn't care about speculation. It cares about speed, trust, and efficiency. And that's what you're holding, a slice of the world's next payment standard. Even if you never buy more, those 5 coins place you on the map of financial evolution. When people finally realize that XRP isn't just another crypto, you'll already have your ticket stamped. Let's be clear, this isn't financial fantasy. This is technology following the same path it always does. Early resistance, quiet development, mass adoption. Ripple has already survived the hardest part, time. The lawsuits, the skepticism, the endless noise, all behind it. What's left now is expansion, and expansion doesn't need hype. It just needs connection. Banks, corridors, institutions, that's exactly what's happening quietly, globally, right now. Here's something nobody talks about. The real power of owning XRP isn't just potential profit. It's understanding value before the crowd does. That mindset alone changes how you view money, markets, and the future. Because if you can see what 5 XRP truly represent, you're already thinking like the people who built the next system, not the ones still doubting it. That perspective will outlast any price movement. When this system matures, when tokenized bonds, real estate shares, and digital currencies flow across blockchains, the demand for liquidity will explode. Ripple doesn't need every transaction on Earth. It just needs a fraction. And that fraction will require XRP to function smoothly. That's when utility becomes unstoppable. That's when even 5 XRP carry meaning far beyond their face value. It's not about owning enough. It's about being connected before the world realizes it's connected to you. People will always say you need a fortune to participate in change. History disagrees. Every transformation starts with people who believed while it was still small. So if you're holding 5 XRP, don't underestimate it, because what you're really holding is a front row seat to the most important financial shift in a century. And when the lights turn on, when the headlines change, you'll know you were there before it became obvious. So yes, even 5 XRP matters. Not because of its price today, but because of the system it represents tomorrow. The next time someone laughs at your small position, remember, every empire starts with a single brick. And when the foundation is this strong, even one brick can stand the test of time. If this helped you see the bigger picture, subscribe to Crypto Equation, the channel that decodes crypto, finance, and the future of value. Because in a world where most people wait for proof, you're already holding it. Even if it's just 5 XRP, this is Crypto Equation, and I'll see you in the next one.